Another week, another review. And much like we ended the previous year, we start this year with another franchise film that is getting a split reception. Back in 2014, Matthew Vaughn delivered Kingsman: The Secret Service, which wowed critics and audiences alike, becoming an instant hit. 3 years later, Vaughn would bring audiences a sequel, Kingsman: The Golden Circle, a film that failed to live up to the first. Now Vaughn returns this time for a prequel, The King's Man. Starring Ralph Fiennes as Orlando Oxford, aka the Duke of Oxford, a former army officer turned pacifist, the movie begins with Orlando working for the Red Cross, delivering aid to a concentration camp in South Africa, with his wife Emily, when the camp is attacked and his wife killed. Orlando swears to protect their son Conrad, and the movie jumps forward in time. Conrad is now a young adult, played by Harris Dickinson, eager to join the military and help serve his country, something Orlando forbids. But sinister forces join together, pulling strings that lead to the start of World War I. Knowing Conrad will not be content with standing in the sidelines, and determined to end the war, Orlando lets Conrad in on a secret that is the beginnings of the Kingsman secret organization. The King's Man is different from both of its predecessors. Slower, less over-the-top and stylistic, with real historic events woven into its plot. Perhaps it is the lack of familiar faces or the toned-down nature of the film that has turned off some viewers, though it has been critics that tend to dislike the film more so than average audiences, showing that while less action and humor exist in this film than in its predecessors, the normal filmgoer doesn't seem to mind. I myself was pleased with the story and how well Vaughn weaves the founding of his fictional organization into real political events. And while the film doesn't offer the same excess of the first two, there are still key moments that are pure Kingsman moments. Unfortunately, there aren't many of these instances, and the majority of them are centered around Rhys Ifans' Rasputin, a character heavily promoted in the film's trailers. Ifans chews the scenery, offering viewers the movie's most outlandish character, though one still well within the world the franchise has already established. Likewise, fight choreography is done well and the action is solid, but again, nothing more spectacular than what we've seen from the franchise before, with the best bits of action again centered around a well-choreographed fight with Rasputin. Fiennes as Oxford is fun and delightful and a perfect proto-Harry Hart. While I myself felt I would miss seeing Colin Firth kick ass on screen, Fiennes' Oxford is a decent substitute. Walking out of the theater, I did enjoy the movie and had fun for the time I watched it. Reflecting on it though, it doesn't really offer up a story that I feel is needed. The most interesting part of the movie to me was its use of real-life events, which makes sense given what little we know of the organization's beginnings from the other films. It does do better, however, than Kingsman's sequel, The Golden Circle, with characters I actually cared about and villains with motivations that made sense. While I felt the origin story was a bit simple and lackluster, I did like the characters and what fight scenes and humor there were. The movie does also offer one well-done jaw-dropper that audiences won't see coming, even if the rest of the movie is more predictable. Overall, The King's Man may not be a necessary prequel, but it's not a bad one. I give The King's Man 3 out of 4 stars.